चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकधामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा शिवसदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं तुंगं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतरम्। हरे कृष्ण। So yesterday we were discussing a little bit upon the sacrifices of exalted Vaishnavas uh, in the lineage of our Guru Parampara. Right since the inception of the Lord, all the wonderful Vaishnavas who actually they dedicated themselves so much, they sacrificed so much, not for their well-being, but for the well-being of others. The moment we hear that, we actually goosebumps will actually come from our heart. Why? Because why am I telling this is that what if you see there's no one in this world who's thinking about others, praying for others, fasting for others, trying to do everything for others. Srila Prabhupada wonderfully has written his followers, wonderful, there are some exalted Vaishnava acharyas in the lineage, they do great services. Um, the moment we think about that, we understand their sacrifices, their devotion, their love, their selflessness. It's unavoidable, this unimaginable. Cannot even understand or cannot even fathom or know. Why? Because they're so dear to the Lord. They always remember Him. They always try to work for Him. They always try to please their teachers. Their life is meant for that only. So, when you see on those lines, just like the sages of Namasharanya, they're performing yagya. That's the intro. That's the introduction. It's the first chapter of Bhagavatam. They're doing, they're just continuing their yagya for thousand years. But what happened is a pure soul came into, they're all exalted. Another pure soul, dedicated soul, selfless, he came. Sutta Goswami came in between. And then when he came, the picture changed. They did not do the sacrifice for 1,000 years. They started to do the sacrifice for the well-being of everyone. See here. If a person is already in that state, they understand what is really the essence of Krishna consciousness. But to come to that state and then understand, it will take definitely time. But if you see this personality has begun that surface on a selfless level only. That's why when a pure soul comes, they could easily understand his heart, his consciousness, his mentality. And when Sutta Goswami came, they understood, wow, this is an exalted person. He heard Bhagavatam. And then let us ask him some questions. They are immediately jumped onto it. For example, when a person is going on the street, let's say he doesn't know, or let's say he doesn't play or see cricket or something, some other sport. There's a sportsman going. He doesn't know who that person is because he has no idea about it. Because he is not in contact with that person, or he doesn't know who that person also. So what he will do, he will just go away. The person might be sitting next to him also. He has no idea. He will just do his business and then move forward. But here, the sages of Namasharina, especially Shaunakarashi, he knows who Sutta Goswami is. They were doing their chores, daily yagya activities. That day they stopped because they saw this exalted personality. Because they know who that person is. Likewise, when we know who our acharyas are, who our teachers are, what they do, what happens, dear devotees, is utmost respect is developed towards them. Through that utmost respect, what happens is when they reveal the truth from their heart, then it directly penetrates into our consciousness. Now, why am I telling this is Vyasadeva, let us see Arjuna. Arjuna has a difficulty. That's the whole point of this Gita. Gita actually came because Arjuna had a difficulty, had a problem. So through that difficulty, he was unable to do what he was supposed to do. That means this became an obstruction for his dharma. Arjuna has to do dharma. What is the dharma? Is to fight. Why they are fighting? To establish, to break irreligion, to establish religious principles. Now, why he's doing that? Because that is his natural kshatriya. Because kshatriya is meant for that. He has to rule the kingdom. He has to establish everyone in the right. He has to keep everyone in the right state. Just like we'll see later on how Parikshit Maharaj, he would establish and then rule the entire nation for like 700 years. How was he doing? He was doing just he heard from the teachings or the training which he received from who? From uh, Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is such an exalted person. He gave him the teachings, and through the teachings, he ruled the world. Now, another interesting aspect is when a person who is ruling something, dear devotees, when a person who is ruling something, if he doesn't remember the person who gave him, he is not in a position to leave that. It's an interesting note we need to carefully observe. I'll repeat this again. When we learn something from someone and then we are doing a service according or as per the guidance and direction of this person, when we are actually doing that, and when the time comes to leave that, we will not leave. But Parikshit Maharaj is not like that of a person. He heard this truth from Yudhishthira Maharaj, and then when the time came for him to leave, he immediately left. This is Srila Prabhupada also. Srila Prabhupada actually did it for his spiritual master. Please understand. Srila Prabhupada did not do for anyone else. He did it for the pleasure of the spiritual master, obviously, for the pleasure of the Lord. But the time when came, and his disciples were asking, Swamiji, you'll be leaving us. You establish 108 temples. You establish this beautiful farm communities, all of these things. You will leave us. And Prabhupada says, yes, I have to go. That means all of those days, for whom is he doing? Is he doing for his followers or is he doing for some name, fame, profit, adoration? No. Is Parikshit Maharaj doing for some adoration, some glorification? No. I'll give another example. Prithu Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, after victory, when he came back to his kingdom, Prithu Maharaj is an incarnation of Supreme Personal Godhead. And he came back, everyone were respecting him, were worshipping him. They were doing uh, they're doing Padasevanam. They are honoring him. They are putting big crowns on him. Wonderful. Everything is wonderfully happening. An interesting thing happens at that moment. At that moment, the four Kumaras would come. Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanata Kumara. They are the teachers of Prithu Maharaj. When the four Kumaras came, Prithu Maharaj immediately left all of those things. It's interesting. He immediately left all of those things and then he put those four kumaras on the throne and then he worshipped them. Wow, beauty. Entire world was worshipping Prithu Maharaj, and Prithu Maharaj, when he saw those four kumaras, he began worshipping them. He did not ignore them. There's another person who ignored. Indra, when he was enjoying in the spirit, in his heavenly abode, is enjoying the happiness. At that moment, his spiritual master would come, Brihaspati. What happens is Indra would ignore Brihaspati. That's an offense. What he did, Indra ignored his teacher. And then he had to go through difficulties after that. He has to go through pig life, so many other things has to happen. Again, Narada Muni has to come and then pick him back to what he is supposed to do. That means ignoring what happened, respecting what happened. And who will really respect? Who is really taking them to the heart? Otherwise, the respect will not come. Otherwise, respect will not come. Actually, school is a place to teach the children about all of this Vedic literature. Why? Because children, they learn everything through school. It's an interesting thing. I was just in the class. I was just correcting. A child came and then he kept his book on top of everyone. I immediately told him, you have to hold on. Because there are other students who are just waiting. You cannot come like that. Do you ever go to the market? If somebody is purchasing some vegetables, do you come in the front and then put your request? They will tell, hold on. There's others. That means there's some etiquette. So that means not just in Vaishnava etiquette, there are etiquettes at everywhere. There's a moral conducts, moral codes at everywhere. There's a moral respect, give and take. Dadati, pratignati, guyyamakyati, prachati. If you see a person, you see whatever good he has done, you can just simply appreciate that person. That person might be going through so many things all through his day. You simply appreciate. You'll do great. Actually, it's a very interesting thing. This appreciation is very important. I was serving the students in the lunch hour, and then the teachers were also coming. I was talking to them, talking to the teachers. I said, "You're doing good service, very nice." But they feel happy. Why? Because anything they are devotees, anything which is coming from the heart, the other person knows. See, you don't have to do that whenever you see them. Whenever you get the genuine inspiration from the heart, you should do that. The genuine inspiration which is coming from the heart means you should observe your heart carefully. How is my heart reacting when I see that person? Is my heart seeing all the good qualities and then trying to glorify? Go and do that. If the heart is seeing the negatives, don't tell those negatives. Keep quiet, shut your mouth, and then try to understand, try to think why the heart is reacting like that. That means our consciousness, the problem, everything is in the consciousness only. Just like Indra rejected the spiritual master, on the other side, Prithu Maharaj, who is the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he respected his spiritual master. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Supreme Personality of Godhead, he respected his spiritual master Ishvara. That means this yadyat acharate shesha tattateve tarojana. This is a must. You see the persons, you apply the same thing, you do this, repeat the same thing. I remember spiritual master telling, you don't have to create anything new. It's already there. You have to know what it is there. You have to see who those personalities are actually following them, and then try to hear from them, and then try to apply those teachings to our heart. And then through that application, this is the whole point of cultivating faith in your consciousness. Remember, we discussed about this. We said we want to discuss further on this. How the faith will be cultivated more? You apply more. Etamam papadyante tamstadeva bhajamya. Whatever little understanding you have, whatever little knowledge we gain, let us try to apply that. Let us try to pacify our heart through that. The sages of Naimisharanya, why they should think about the well-being of others and forget the matter of fact, why they should do yajna, 1,000 years yajna, why they should do fire sacrifice for the well-being of everyone. They can work for the well-being of their family. They can work for the well-being of themselves. Why they are working for the well-being of everyone? Sanaka Rishi specifically mentions we began this yajna for the well-being of every jiva in this world. We began this yajna. This is Vaishnavism, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada, he says, I am doing this for the well-being of everyone in this world as a service to my spiritual master. This is the Vaishnava. This is the etiquette which they cultivate. And when we understand this, then we know who this really Vaishnavas are. Then we see, they're totally different. This material world, entire material world, we will not see these kind of personalities like this. Yes, no doubt, dear devotees, we will not see this kind of personality. Because everyone is looking for their own name, fame, profit, adoration. This is a whole point. You cannot trust anything in this material world. Because everything is topsy-turvy. Urdhvam ulam adho shaka. That means love over there in the spiritual world converts into lust. That means this lust, demon lust, has conquered everyone in this world. The lust has conquered everyone. So the person who's tinged with the lust, we cannot trust him. That is a whole point. It is very difficult to develop a relationship with a particular person in this world. Please understand. Actually, relationship with a person in this world can only be established through absolute truth. There is no other way. Even husband and wife, that is not relation in devotees. Please understand. Wife, children, it's not a relation. No, not on one level it is a relation, but it is not relation if it is not connected to the truth. That is the whole point. We should understand the truth. Our children should understand the truth. We should, through our understanding the truth, we should love them through the truth, not devoid of the truth. That love is not on the plane of raga, but that love is really on the plane of love. Because that is not an illusory state. How is that love and lust, and how is that raga, that is the attachment and love, they look similar. A mother pacifying the child, it seems to be love. If it is on a selfless plane, definitely it is love. But if anyone has out of that has any expectation, that is on a lust level, that is attachment. Lust means you are expecting something out of it. The moment we have an expectation, that is an attachment. For example, if I expect something in doing a service, that is the greatest blunder actually in this world. Expecting something through that service. Yeah, Prithu Maharaj is not expecting the devotee. Oh, you see, Prithu Maharaj, oh, we all worshipped Prithu Maharaj. Now Prithu Maharaj is worshipping this person. Wow, wow, this is great. So Prithu Maharaj is not doing so that everyone will tell him great. No, he is just genuinely doing it. It doesn't matter whether other person is telling him or not, whether other person is glorifying him or not. This everything is on a selfless state. And one shouldn't speak Bhagavatam for some money. Okay, if I speak something, then they will give some money for my maintenance. No, no. I remember my spiritual master. He tells very clearly. He told us, and I never started this process of Krishna consciousness so that I get some money, so that I get some followers, so that that money can be used for my own sense gratification. No, he said, no, that was never the essence. That means the discussion should be on a selfless plane. It should be on a spiritual plane. Very, very important. It should not be on a temporary material plane. That means if a person is actually speaking and then after that he's expecting, oh, at least $1,000 should come through this discussion, or $500 should come. It is that is not at all a discussion. That is not at all on a plane of spiritual. If you are expecting something out of it, please understand, when we are expecting something out of anything, that will not give us an opportunity to enter into the realm of spirituality. That means, to the point which we discussed few days back, there is material, there is spiritual. Material is always material, but material cannot be mixed or converted to spiritual if we are not freed up from completely materialism. If one's materialism is not completely freed up, he cannot enter into the spiritual realm. So the process and understanding is to slowly cultivate that consciousness. Just like Indra, he was just enjoying with the so-called damsels of heavenly planets. He didn't want to obstruct that. For that, he's even ignoring his spiritual teacher. What is the greatest blunder? Here on the other side, Bali Maharaj, what is he doing? He was hearing everything from Shukracharya. He was giving him respect also. He's giving him good position. He's giving him good place to stay. He's taking care of his spiritual master very nicely. There is no problem for his spiritual master because Bali Maharaj is taking care of him very nicely. But when Vishnu came, Shukracharya felt that no, if he goes, then I'll be in trouble. So I should stop him. He shouldn't go. Just like Mantra was thinking about Kaikeyi. What was Mantra thinking about Kaikeyi? Mantra was thinking about Kaikeyi that if I go, if I if Kaikeyi goes away from here, who will take care of me? No, I should stop her. If if Kausalya becomes the primary queen, then there is nothing from Kaikeyi's side. Then that means there's a problem for me. That means I have to stop this. This should not happen. That means when an expectation is there through a desire, if that is not fulfilled, what happens is it gives us frustration. That's why even a first instance when the expectation is coming, we should immediately check out why this expectation is coming. Why you want to do this? What are you expecting through this? What gain you are gaining through this? Okay, even if through that expectation, if you receive that expectation, you will be really happy. There's no guarantee. There's no chance because it is on a material plane. Material plane, you cannot expect any happiness. Even that expectation is met. Not you all, we all had an expectation of going to US, right? We applied, we wrote GRE TOEFL. Some of you might have written GRE TOEFL. And then once the I-20 is done, then we go and then received our F1 visa. You might be the happiest person at that time. But later on, that expectation is fulfilled, but that expectation is not the source expectation. Because after that, we have multiple other expectations also. Because that first expectation did not meet our results fully. That is why we are having another expectations through that. Just like Arjuna, he was speaking in chapter 1, very nicely speaking. He's telling this is bad, that is bad. Varna Shankara will be established. He's telling all of those things on a selfless plan, but that is not fulfilling. That means he's going into the next step of dharma, next step of dharma, next step of dharma. That means one by one he's telling, but none of those expectations are meeting his or satisfying his heart. Because all those expectations are on a different plane. No doubt they are from the scriptures only, but they are not from Bhagavad. Please understand. They are the courts of dharma. Courts of dharma is different. That is on a plane, that is on a different plane. He's also telling that if I kill this person, I will incur sin. Sin is very bad to me. How can sin be incurred to me? You kill demons, you are asking me to kill my family members. What is this, Krishna? This is what is Arjuna expecting. That means he is quoting the dharma codes. He's quoting the codes of he's spelling out the codes of dharma, but codes of dharma is not satisfying him. Because the codes of dharma, who wrote the codes of dharma? Vyasadeva. He himself is not satisfied. What to speak of a person who understands all of those codes, to those codes, when he speaks those codes or when he tries to follow that codes, that is not giving him satisfaction. But the moment we come to the state of pure souls, pure devotees, acharyas, exalted Vaishnava personalities. When you come to that state, that is a pinnacle in your devotion. Because only that can give you the real essence. If somebody is catching this and leading his life as per this, that I don't do this because this is displeasing my teacher. I don't do this because this is not bhakti. This is not demarking bhakti. I don't do this because this will displease Srila Prabhupada. I don't do this because this will please my teacher. If one comes to this particular state, for this a strong relationship not on a material plane but on a spiritual plane has to be established. The strong relationship on the absolute truth has to be established. A couple of days back, I was discussing with my spiritual master. It was a very short conversation, but very, very heart churning. Establishing a relationship with the spiritual master should only be on the absolute plane. Ah. No doubt they will tell, initially we might come on a material plane, that's okay. But eventually on sadhaka should come to that state. Because they are not meant to fulfill our material needs. They are there to correct, to help us elevate ourselves in the spiritual realm. Spiritual plane is a plane which everything has to be dealt with. Actually, through the spiritual discussions, through the spiritual conversations on the absolute plane can only enhance the relationship. Why am I telling this is dear? What is used to see anyone in this world, any kind of relationship in this world? Husband, wife, child, mother. You see, why child mother relationship on one level it is good, but on the other level it is bad? Because they have expectations. The mother has one expectation, child has another expectation. There's a conflict of interest. And eventually, when the mother says that I can't tell him, then eventually he'll tell mother, thank you very much. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. Why? Because every jiva has their own expectations, devoid, because this is all devoid of Krishna consciousness. Because this is all on a material plane. That's why if you see those relationships, they don't stand. That is the whole point of all these old age homes. Because they don't correlate with them anymore. There seems to be a relationship, but it is not a relationship. Just like you go into a just like when you go into a desert, you kind of see that there is water. But if you go closer to that, you'll see that it's all sand. What is that? That is an illusory state, illusory water which you'll see, which is called as a mirage. Exactly this kind of relationships are there in this material. You accept this or not, but this is a fact. Because every relationship is coming on that level. But if a person is really genuinely Krishna conscious, everyone is Krishna conscious in the family, they're really practicing, they're really pleasing Guru and Krishna. That is not on a material level. That homes become Goloka. That is spiritual. They're not. They're not pulling each other for anything else other than trying to please Guru and Krishna. This is a perfect state. This consciousness we have to achieve. When we cultivate this consciousness, you see your faith, okay? You see your faith in the process, immense faith. That means you will just speak Krishna consciousness, you don't speak anything else. Because you are in that state. You are looking for that, you are aspiring for that. Faith increases, dear devotees, when we are constantly taking the association of our acharyas, of our spiritual teachers, their words, their instructions. If you're meditating on them, why we should meditate on them? Because they are selfless. A selfless person cannot cheat the other person. Are what is cheating the other world? They're actually thinking about the well-being of others, praying for us. How can they cheat us? I remember my spiritual master telling when he first started reading the books of Srila Prabhupada after understanding the life of Srila Prabhupada, he told one thing. He said, you see, after reading the life of Srila Prabhupada and then reading the book, his small books which he has written, he said, I understood one thing. What was the one thing which he understood is Very interesting. He said, this person will not cheat. Wow. So great realization. This person is very honest because he's so devoted to his spiritual master. Wow. Hats off. I said, oh, this is amazing. Why? Because if a person is devoted or very submissive to the higher authorities and he is acting on a selfish line simply to please them, that person cannot cheat the other one. But if the person is duplicitous, this is where the problem. If the person is duplicitous, then he'll cheat for sure. And he said, you see, this kind of a person, we have to follow his words. We have to follow his instructions. When we do that, your heart is naturally pacified. Because what is happening to your heart? The kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsara, they're going up. And then momentarily, if you engage in something, some act of sense gratification, your heart will pound so heavily after that. Oh, why did I do that? Why did I wasted my time? This valuable human form of life should be meant for self-realization, not for sense gratification. And this thing we have done in the previous life also. Why this mind doesn't understand this? Why it goes to tamoguna? Because the what is your guna has to change to engage in sense gratification. Please understand this. Our guna is the guna, mostly guna will be in Rajo and Tamo. If it is in the sattva, the guna has to change. Through sattva, one cannot engage in sense gratification. He has to come to Raja for sure. To come to the state of laziness, he has to come to Tamo. In goodness, there is no laziness. That means there is a laziness in the consciousness. We need to understand this Tamo is actually dominating. That means the desire, for sometimes the mind intermittently engages us in the sense gratification without you desiring that. But you don't think of doing sense gratification, but intermittently it does it. That is another state. That is another difficult state to come out. Please understand. That means thinking of it is one thing. Later on, doing that action is another thing. But intermittently doing without thinking, without action is another state. And that state comes through our consciousness. Because that state only comes because we are too much deeply absorbed to that. And that also has to be removed. And for this, we have to be fully dependent. Please, my dear Lord. Harirnama Kevalam. Lo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatirannata. You said this holy name is a powerful process. But my dear Lord, I do not have any taste. I'm begging, please give me taste so that I can chant. I can be absorbed in this process. Dear spiritual master, please give strength so that I can do this service. Because when we depend like that, what happens is that the mercy comes. Then that intermittent change in the mind can also be checked by our consciousness because the intelligence becomes more and more sharpened by the mercy of the spiritual master, not by our endeavor, by their mercy, the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because Krishna himself told, Yetamam papatnyante tamsaya bhajan. You put an endeavor, I will reciprocate. You put more, I will order. Oh, endeavor to dana hai na. Desire we have to put. You have to put that into action. Then the Lord is reciprocating. Now, with this reciprocation, you'll see the magic. Through this reciprocation, your faith will increase intensely. This is a perfect endeavor to develop that faith more and more. We have to work on this. There is no other option for us. We have to work on this. Because this material nature, dear devotee, I'll tell you something. The moment we are relaxed in this world, material world will take us on a ride. I'll tell you this. Any relaxation here, it will take us on a ride. It will show all our previous thing, and then all the previous thing will come once and it will fall on our head. All our previous habits which we missed, which we forgot. Because for that we should be continuously active, continuously in the mode of service. No free time. No free time. We should engage ourselves fully. That too with good consciousness. That's the whole point, right? Why are we discussing everything? To develop that good consciousness. After developing that good consciousness, engage in services. When we are engaged like that, then what happens? The thought for sense gratification is minimized. Intermittently coming from the mind, that also has to be understood. You don't desire that, but you do it intermittently. That sharp the mind goes, that deep the mind goes. But our intelligence should catch that. For that intelligence to catch that, heart and heart, we should continuously remember Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead in our. We have to do this. Hare Krishna. I have to stop here. Today is Saturday. I have another assignment. Anyone would like to add anything? We have few minutes. It's important here what is cultivating the faith is a vital factor. Dharmasya tattvam hitam guhaya. Mahajanayena gatasya banta. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, please accept my
Hare
humble
Krishna.
all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Very nicely you explained, like to pray to Krishna, pray to Acharyas, to Gurus to give us mercy. So through our desire, the mercy will come from them, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Because you're desiring it, because you're desiring that consciousness, because you're desiring that state, we are requesting, we're begging, then they will see how much is our desire, how much we are enduring. And then through that they will reciprocate. Please tell.
Yes, Prabhuji. That's what I just want to tell, Prabhuji. It's very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
It's a very it's a very practical process. The more we dwell, the more we think, the more we aspire. Dear devotee, when you do all of these things, you know, Krishna is actually watching all these endeavors. He'll be so happy. If we are non-envious to everyone, first person who's happy is Paramatma sitting in our lap. And the spiritual master also knows that later. But first person who knows that the Paramatma sitting in the heart, he knows. This child is very sincere, he's not envious. His mind is telling, but he's not reacting according to that. Mind will tell, dear devotee. And don't worry about the mind. And don't be bogged down to the mind also. Mind might tell, is envious. Or when you're speaking something, dear devotee, I'll tell you something. This is very subtle. When you're speaking something, the mind will tell or show or redirect us to the person where it has shown the enmity to that person before. That is, oh, okay, you're telling no about that particular person. That means the mind will pinpoint to that particular person. Why the mind is pinpointing to that person is slowly you develop envy to that particular person and then eventually you start speaking about that. That is an offense. That means we should be very careful that how the mind is will cheat us also in different ways. When you're trying to tell a principle, the mind might show or point us to a person. That is also not right. We have to check that. No. I'm not talking about that particular person. I'm talking in general as a principle. I'm not talking about any particular person. I should have the clarity in our heart. That means the Lord has to be convinced with our clarity, which we are cultivating in our consciousness, because Lord is also seeing that consciousness. He's checking our heart. Wow. These are all tests, dear devotees. When you pray to the Lord at a level to develop good desire, Lord will put tests in our consciousness through mind also. Because when you desire, the material nature will do tests because she is also hearing. When you desire something, doesn't the material nature is not hearing? Material nature is also hearing. Durga Devi, she's also working. So she will put different situations in our consciousness. And then she will tell, oh, how you're reacting now. Now, what are you expecting now? Very, very important. It will cheat us it cheat us on a subtle level. You don't deserve any respect. Person is not respecting also. Mind will tell, you see, the person is not respecting. You see, he is not respecting. You see, she is not respecting. You see, that person is not practicing. You see, he is not practicing. The mind will tell so many things. That means if when we react to mind, that itself that leads to an offense. But when we are not reacting to the mind, when we are reacting to the intelligence, this is the shadow. This is what exactly Krishna wants us to do. He'll put us a situation, give us a scenario, how we are reacting, he'll see that. And when we come to that state of Advaishta Sarabhutana, you see magic. That's the magic in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. I think I'll stop here. Thank you all very much. We'll continue the discussion later. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful class. We can conclude with Prem Dhwani prayers now. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parvijacharya Ashtottara Shatabhai Charanaravindha. His Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parvijacharya Ashtottara Shata. His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. अनेक कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। द्वारका धाम की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Pudale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadharine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Sri Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Guruve Gaurachandraya राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुपश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, have an amazing Krishna conscious Saturday. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari Bol. Grace from Srila Prabhuji ki jai. Grace Nirvan Prabhuji ki jai. Saraswati Mataji, Namananda Prabhuji, all devotees ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Subala Gopal Prabhuji ki jai. Hare Krishna.
हरे
Yes,
कृष्ण
Srila
धन्यवाद
Prabhupada.
प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
Dhanyavad.